Hey guys, Brian and Diana here. We want to talk to you today about Grayson's diagnosis. So Grayson was born at 26 weeks. He is our micro preemie, about 2 years of age, I would say. When Grayson was 2, he's 3 now. But when he was 2, I really noticed, I don't even know how to describe it, you know.
Quirky behavior?
Yeah, some quirky behaviors. You know, he wasn't really into like cars and other toys that, you know, a normal 2-year-old, I guess, would be into. He really loved all of his toys that had music and had flashing lights. He loved that. And I didn't think anything of it. He loved to read. He loved for me to read to him all the time. He would just sit and let me read to him all the time.
And so as we saw him being around other kids his age, we started noticing, okay, things were a little bit different. He was distancing himself. So all the kids were playing in an area and he would be off by himself. And so Diana started hinting like, hey, you know, maybe there's some autism going on there. And I was like, nope, don't even say the word. I don't want to go there. I just completely denied everything. I just said no. However, Diana persisted.
I persisted because I just knew something was off. So we made an appointment with someone who came highly recommended in the area where we live. And I mean, she was like a specialist in this area, I guess. So we had an appointment, we saw her. We were told at this appointment from other people that it would be like 3 hours long. They were like, be prepared. And we're like, oh geez, okay. So we get there and she sees Grayson and it's like 15 minutes goes by.
And Diana's like, and the woman was like, he's not autistic, 100% not autistic. And Diana's like, well, wait, I have some more questions, you know, and I want to...
Yeah, I was like, what about this? Why does he do this? What about that? She's like, well, he's looking at me. And I'm like, okay, but well, maybe he's looking at your glasses because he doesn't really look at me all the time. Like, he will look at me, but it's not constant. It's, you know, very quick. And, you know, I was like, well, what about, you know, his hands? You know, he does this hand flapping thing. And she's like, oh, that could just be, you know, the music or whatever. Because I told her at that time, he just did it to music.
So she said, hey, look, you know what? Come back in 6 months. I doubt the diagnosis will be different, but we'll just see what happens then, you know, and we'll basically see you later. But he's definitely not autistic. So for me, I was like, I told you. See, we're good.
Like, I told you, that's it. We're done.
Yeah, we're done.
Like,
that's it. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I'm like, well, we're going to see her again. So we saw her again, and it was the same amount of time, maybe 20 minutes this time. But, I mean, all she did was like read to him, and I said, well, he loves to read because I've read to him since he was a baby all the time. You know, blew some bubbles, and I'm like, well, I do that with him. He likes that. Like, you know, what else? Is there anything, you know, and that was it. And she sent me on my way, and I was not happy at all.
And again, I was like, look, Diana, I'm like, I don't want to go looking for, you know, any issues or anything. I don't want to make it be, so let's just be done with it. But here's the thing. From his birth, we've been advocating, making sure that we're there, making sure that he's getting everything that he needs. And the mother's intuition, that's kind of one of the main points we want to talk about. Diana was like, no, something is off. So I
mean, and we knew that he was going to be delayed. As a micro preemie, they're delayed and they're crawling and they're walking and their speech. So we knew all that. But he had a speech therapist, and even she said to me, have you had him, you know, checked out or, you know, looked at for a possible, you know, ASD? And so I was like, well, we're looking into it.
So then you, through a Facebook group, you found a doctor, right?
Yes. No. His OT, because he has OT. So his OT recommended someone that a lot of her, clients see. And so I called her up. She did not take insurance.
Of course.
But she said, this is what I do. I have a son who has autism. He's, 20 something years old. And we do a very extensive evaluation. So I said, let's just do it, set it up. She could take me the next week.
So it was a completely different experience. We had, I would say, 200 or 300 questions that we had to go through. I mean, it took like a long time. Everything. It was almost like a personality test, but to the extreme, And so that's the first thing that we had to give her.
Yeah.
And she spent how long with Grayson?
She spent, I think, like 2 hours with him.
2 hours.
Yeah. But here's the thing. When I walked in the door, she sat me down. We said hello, all the pleasantries. And she's like, look, I'm going to tell you just from the survey that you filled out that your son has autism. And I was like, I mean, even though your heart still just like drops and you're just like, oh no. And I sat there crying and she's like, but I'm going to do, some things with him and, just hang tight. I'm like, okay. She's like, I got some questions too, blah, blah, blah. So she did a full-on thing with him, like playing with him, did some IQ things with him and stuff like that. So it was, and that was that.
that was the diagnosis. And so now it's like, okay, now what, right? Because I was like, okay, babe, you're right, and I'm just like, how much more does this kid have to deal with, I mean, his whole entire 3 months was insane in the hospital, and now this at 3 years old, and my brain was like, look, we're older, we had Grayson when we were 42, so now I'm thinking, okay, we're not going to be around for most of his life. So how is he going to be taken care of? Like all these thoughts go rushing through your brain, and then it's like, okay, where do we start? What do we do? How now do we support him the best way for what he needs? And so that then now creates a whole bunch of different therapies, extra therapies. I mean, it's just been like a whirlwind because this was about 4 or 5 months ago when he was diagnosed.
Yeah.
So so we're gonna continue to create videos and let you know what therapies he's doing. Some of the hopefully we can film and get you inside so you can see exactly what's happening and how he's progressing.
Yeah.
He's doing well.
He's doing well. His speech has come a long way. I mean, because he was barely speaking at all, and now he's speaking a lot. A lot of it is still, I don't know, his own language kind of a thing, but he's talking.
We understand Grayson.
Yeah.
But so that's it, guys. We just wanted to come on, share that with you, and definitely, please, if you haven't done so already, like the video. Definitely subscribe to our channel. We're gonna create a bunch of content around micro preemies, and now we have a new world ASD that we're gonna get into. So, hey guys, we love you, love your support, appreciate everything, and we'll be in touch soon.
Bye-bye.